He drew his gun and shot Wharton dead. Moments later, the insects burst from Percy's mouth, leaving him in a catatonic state. Percy was later admitted to Briar Ridge Mental Hospital, not as a staff member, but as a patient. Paul finally saw the truth: John Coffey was innocent. The real murderer of the two girls had been Wharton all along. Through his supernatural gift, Coffey had shown Paul the crime as it happened. The realization crushed Paul. An innocent man was about to die. Desperate, Paul considered helping Coffey escape. But John refused. When Paul confessed his fear of standing before God, explaining that he didn't want to answer for executing one of his true miracles, Coffey reassured him. He told Paul to say that it was a kindness, that he was tired of being lonely, tired of witnessing the cruelty of the world, tired of feeling the suffering of others. Paul understood. But before Coffey's execution, they asked him what he wanted. John had never seen a flicker show before. So together, the guards and Coffey watched Top Hat. The day of John's execution arrived. As he entered the chamber, the families of the murdered girls sat in front of the electric chair, full of hatred. But Brutal told him to ignore them and feel what the guards felt for him instead: love. As John sat in the chair, tears streamed down Paul's face. John whispered the words from the movie, I'm in heaven, and then, he was gone. Years later, an elderly Paul sat with Elaine, recounting his story. He led her to a small cottage, where Mr. Jingles still lived. Decades had passed, yet the little mouse was still alive, a living testament to Coffey's gift. Paul had outlived everyone he loved, his friends, his wife, even Elaine. And he believed it was his punishment, his atonement for letting John ride the lightning. Paul knew that immortality was never his to claim, nor did he desire it. Yet, as the years stretched on, he found himself wishing for death long before it would finally come. Night after night, he lay in bed, staring into the darkness, waiting, thinking. He thought about the people he had loved, now long gone. He thought about the Green Mile, the final path each person must walk, knowing that every one of them had their time. And yet, one thought haunted him most of all, keeping him awake as the hours dragged on. If he could make a mouse live so long, how much longer do I have? Paul understood the truth. Every soul owed a death. There were no exceptions. But as he waited, burdened by memories that refused to fade, he couldn't help but feel it in his bones. Oh God, sometimes, the Green Mile seems so long.